All right. Well, welcome everybody. This is our fourth meeting with our Tucson Metro Chambers Knowledge at Noon. It's a pleasure to have everybody on board with us today. Our speaker is Chrisie Ballard. She is the CEO and franchise owner of BNI, which stands for Business Network International. Her topic today will be building your business through virtual networking, which I know we can all use right now. She has asked that during her talk, if you will use the chat feature and type in questions that you may have. And at the end of the talk, we will answer all those questions. So for right now, if all of us will mute and we'll let Chrisie take the reins here.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to be here. So I want to start off by saying I do not have all the answers. I am right there with all of you, and definitely are learning as we go in this new, temporary world. Someone said, the new normal, and I'm having a hard time using that term. This is far from normal, and hopefully it's definitely not going to be around for too much longer. However, we are where we are right now. And so what we have done a little bit just about me and who I am. I have been with BNI since 2004, and I've been the franchise owner since 2010. So we work much like the chamber in that we have memberships, and our whole entire point is to build communities within the community. And so that's why the Metro Chamber and BNI align so nicely, and I appreciate our partnership completely. Today, if you have questions, we may not actually wait until the end. So I may, if I see that I have the chat bar up, so if I see a question or a comment, I may ask you to unmute and actually share it rather than me reading it, because then I'm not the only one talking, which is a good thing. And what I find when we do any workshops or any training on any topic, most of the brilliance comes from those participants that are in the room with me. So I'm going to ask that you truly participate with me because yes, I've got some ideas. We've got some best practices that we've seen that are working. But again, you may have some other ideas. And so that's one of the goals today, is to really figure out and work together on this. All right. So some goals for today, building your business, in this virtual climate. How are we going to do that? Realizing, I think now more than ever, that relationships truly are currency. We were discussing before, Carol and I were talking about it, even introverts who initially, when we kind of moved to the home, at least for my members, some were really happy. And over the course of the last couple of weeks, even they are saying, boy, it is all about missing out on the connection of just people. So realizing that those relationships are currency, we're going to talk about that. Different platforms. I have gotten very proficient in Zoom. Zoom is the platform that helped BNI go online. In less than about 2 weeks, we moved over 200,000 members online. So Zoom did a great job in helping us, but I also know there are a lot of other platforms out there. So we're going to, talk about those, and you guys can help me, fill in the blanks, because I'm sure there are a lot more things out there. One of the things that Adam mentioned yesterday when he and I were talking was reputation management. And I think it's a huge piece, and I'm so glad that he had me insert that. So we're going to talk about that as well. And then talking about marketing your business. How are we marketing our businesses differently than even a month ago? How are you pivoting? What have you had to change? and how do we connect with people to think outside of the box. We were on a networking, basically a mixer, about a week and a half ago, and there was a lady who is a travel agent. So you can, assume that her business is gone for the moment. And so she was really working with, she talked with her husband, and she was talking with some friends of hers and a business coach, and trying to get some ideas of, gosh, help me think outside the box. And what she came up with was how many of us had already booked a vacation, booked a business conference, booked flights and hotels, and how many of you have tried to call any of the airlines or tried to call Airbnb or VRBO? They're not answering right now because their call volume. And so what she's doing is she's actually offering her service to be the liaison for a small fee. She'll be the one that waits on hold for you. And I thought it was brilliant. And she said, the funny thing is, I may actually do this moving forward, for people that aren't necessarily my clients, that didn't hire me, but I could still, do that once we get, back to whatever the normal is that we're going to get back to. So I thought it was a great idea. So relationships, one of the things that we talk about, and Carol and I were talking about before, I said, all right, so what's the chamber doing? Because, how are you guys working right now? And of course, everybody is working from home and they're doing Zoom meetings as an office, but they're reaching out, they're talking to the members and creating those relationships, finding out, what do you need? How can we help? And I think that's one of the good things that has come from this, is that the majority of businesses, the majority of people, we're doing more of that. Even if we were fantastic at it before, I think we're getting really, really good at it. Some of us have a little bit more time because of what's happening. Some businesses don't. Some businesses are really thriving right now, and some businesses are not existent because of what's happening. So creating those relationships and finding out how we can work together, I think is going to be really, really important. And I think, again, when we come out of this, it's going to make us more successful in the end. So some of the ways that we're connecting and building those relationships is, last night we did a virtual Wine Wednesday, and there was about 11 of us, and we just got together and we talked about how it's going, what's going on in your world, what are you doing that's different, and we laughed and we were just together. So I don't know if you have experienced those types of things, but that's a really great way to just connect. It doesn't have to be over wine. I will tell you, for BNI, I used to have coffee with Chrisie at 8 a.m. And then I went to Wine Wednesday, and for whatever reason, I have many more participants in Wine Wednesday. So, you can make your own deduction there. Another thing that I'm seeing happening is actual businesses having these virtual meetings with their clients, and maybe even just bringing them together and playing a game. Like, let's get together and play a virtual game. I don't know if any of you are doing that, but I'm seeing a lot of families now on Facebook, and they're posting the 10 or 11 and 12 people that are on, and they're playing this virtual game together. Again, just keeping the relationships together and keeping them solid. So I would love to hear, what are some of the things that you all have done recently that's working? to connect and create those relationships. Adam?
Yeah. Hey, Chrissy. For sure. So thanks, first of all, for being on here. I think this is great information. But as you know, the Chamber has been doing some stuff. But just in my own personal relationships, one of my close friends, him and his wife and me and my girlfriend had like a virtual happy hour on Saturday where we just kind of Zoomed with each other and drank drinks. And so that was great. And then last night, kind of in line with what you were saying with Wine Wednesdays, there's a local watering hole, which I frequent. And Chrissy, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but they did game night.
Maybe.
Yeah. They had a game night last night. So there was like 15 or 16 of us. They were playing a couple different games, and there was some drinking involved as well, but it was nice just to interact with others. I didn't really think I was going to enjoy it, but just to see people and hear laughter and have things in common have really helped out last night. So I think it's great that you're providing opportunities for people to do something similar.
Yeah. And I really think it's important. It is, it's so important to just stay connected, and it could be something small, it could be something big. Anybody else experienced something or done something either in their business or with their family, with their friends? Anybody else have anything they might want to share? Okay, so I don't want to ruin your name. So is it Sumaya? Oh, all right. So virtual dinner parties. I love that. I love that. Back in the day, you remember the progressive dinner parties, how you went from one house to the next. This is kind of it. It's just in a virtual world right now. It's just in a virtual world. So Chuck's got a question. He said, how important is the visual component of a Zoom versus a telephone call? What I would say and what we're finding is people want to see people. Period. They want to see people. Now we understand, and I know we've got some people on the phone today. So that is, by the way, not a judgment at all. Sometimes especially with this technology, what we're finding, so we've got kids that are doing schooling, correct? And we may have mom and dad that are working from home virtually. And honestly, I have a member and he said, you're not going to be able to see me because right now we don't have enough bandwidth for all of our kids and my wife and I to all be on a meeting or at school at the same time. So know that too, that there's, sometimes the call in for that person, they're still feeling connected. And I would say if at all possible, the video is definitely important just because people want to see people. That's how those relationships are created. So anything else? Anybody have anything else that's working or that you've tried or maybe even that you've heard about? I know we're all talking about this. Social media seems buzzing with all the different ideas. So if not, that's fine. We'll move on. All right, great. So I think we've touched on some of the things that are working. Making sure that we are connecting with our clients, with our customers, virtually, on the phone. I know I've been on the phone more with my members in the last 3 weeks than I probably ever have been. And I consider myself to be pretty connected with the members, but I'm definitely more connected and building those relationships now. So you all tell me either in the chat bar or feel free to unmute yourself. What are some of the things that are working in your business in this virtual reality that we're in right now in helping to create those relationships or build those relationships? Anybody willing to share? Or type in the chat bar.
Chrissy, I'll touch on that.
Excellent. Thanks, Valerie.
You're welcome. So lately I've been following up with a lot of my members and they seem to be more appreciative and they really like it, just touching base and seeing how they're doing. And a lot of my members just like to vent, and it helps them so much just to know that they have that support and someone's actually there listening to them.
I 100% agree. I think this sense of isolation is affecting everyone. I think it's the first time, at least in my lifetime, that I can remember everyone is being affected by the same thing. And, you know, when 9/11 happened, you know, it brought us together as a country, but schools were still in session, and restaurants and small businesses were still functioning. And this space that we're in right now is so different. And what I'm realizing is everyone is in a different stage of almost grief in the isolation piece and the not feeling connected. And what I have found is, you know, Valerie, you hit on it. You just giving people compassion and lending an ear, and giving some grace in this time, and knowing that not everybody is in the same place. Some people really are working out of a fear mindset. It just is. And some people are acting like this isn't real. It's not happening. And then, you know, you've got the mid people, which I'd say is probably the majority. And I think it's really important to realize where everybody, be aware that people are going to be in different stages. Even our clients and our customers are going to be in different stages. They're being affected differently. And just having a lot of compassion. So when we do reach out, you know, Valerie, I don't know if you were maybe not ready for that event. You may not have been as ready for the first one. You're ready for the next ones though, right?
Yeah, I'm ready. I mean, to be honest, there's some members that I have a really good connection with, and they just cry to me. And like, as soon as I'm off the phone, I cry too, because it hits me hard. I have that connection with them.
Yeah.
But it's nice knowing that we're all in this together.
I agree. I agree. So Jeff says that he's actually reinitiated his constant contact. He's sending out a newsletter to let people know what he's been up to. So again, there are a lot of different ways. And are you finding, Jeff, I'm going to ask you, are you finding that you're getting responses, maybe even more than before?
Well, I just sent it out about an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
I do have a few responses already. And
okay.
I mean, it's just basically just checking in with me and thanking for the update. But hey, that's part of it, is getting to know people.
Right.
They know you, they like you, they trust you, then they'll buy from you, or they'll refer you. So
yeah, that's it. And again, I think it's about the different ways that we are staying in contact and creating those virtual touches, so to speak, with our customers and our clients. Anybody else have anything else that seems to be working?
Hello.
Hi, Diana.
Sorry. I just wanted to say, I know for us virtually, it's been really great because we can update the public with all the changes going on with the food banks, because as so many people are losing their jobs, they qualify to come into the food banks, and just trying to spread that information. And we've turned into basically a drive-through food bank, but just really letting the community know, and it's really helped spread our reach because we can't let everybody know.
That's great. Yeah. That is great. So Diana is with Impact, and if you're not familiar with that fantastic organization, make sure to reach out to Diana, because I'm sure, like many, there's a lot of ways that we can help to give back right now. So that's great. All right, so I'm gonna ask what's not working. You know, again, I try to be positive and supportive, and yet I feel like if we're going to come up with some answers, we've got to talk about some tough things too. So anybody willing to say, you know, I'm seeing this as a challenge. Maybe it's not that it isn't working, but it doesn't feel like it did before, and so it's becoming a challenge. Anybody willing to share?
I mean, I guess I can say a little bit. I mean, obviously our world has kind of been turned upside down, and we're trying to find ways to, you know, talk to our members and engage with our members, and platforms like this are doing great, but it's tough. You know, I think everybody has to kind of look in themselves and see, you know, what is possible right now. I know financially there's a lot of people that are hurting, and so you know, for us, it's not business as usual. You know, my whole part of my job with the chamber and my primary responsibility is to go out and get members, and to try to ask individuals for money in this time is difficult. But, you know, I'm happy to work for such a great organization that is finding ways to, we're identifying the roadblocks first and foremost. I mean, that is the big part of what we've been doing for the last 3 weeks, and contacting all of our members and trying to figure out, okay, what isn't working right now and how can we be the resource page. And I think, you know, to go back to you talking about relationships, you know, we're very fortunate in the last, you know, year and a half, 2 years, especially since Amber's come on, that we're collaborating and we're partnering more now than we ever have. And I think our willingness to kind of buck the trend of how we used to be, and focus more on the relationships and the customer service has really allowed us to spread the love a little bit more and partner with organizations like C. Charo to deliver food, and the Barrio Brewing Fund Foundation Fund that is now giving out gift cards to laid off bar and restaurant owners. So I think the biggest step is identifying those roadblocks and then working to find creative solutions to kind of get through it. But the important thing is leveraging those relationships both on professional level, but even more so on the personal level in times like these.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. 100%. Any, okay. So Jeff is saying that biggest challenge. So Jeff is with Lady Baba does promo, so promotional products. There's no events. Trade shows aren't happening. Expos have been canceled, and either canceled or postponed. So yeah, that's a challenge. And, you know, also, you know, we're in this space, it feels like, where, okay, I want to take care of the customers and clients that I have, and obviously attempt to continue to build my business through this, time that we're in. And yet, you know, speaking to Adam, you know, I'm in the same boat, Adam, asking somebody to become a member right now. I'm like, obviously people are still coming and they're still applying and they're becoming members. And yet still, I look at some of my members and they don't have a business right now. And so it's challenging. And I think that's where we're going to have to try to think outside of the box. How do we help one another through this so that in the end, we're actually creating more success than we did before? So any other challenges? Again, I don't have the answers, but it's all about talking about them. Diana?
I'm throwing this out. This is my challenge. This is my intern.
I like it. Yep.
She's great, but I know so many people are struggling with kids being at home. I'm thankful, like, she can barely crawl, but I know so many people are struggling with that. I never understood it, but now I do. Say.
Yeah, she's so beautiful. Yeah, it again, this is a place we haven't been in before, you know, where the majority of us are home. I mean, some are in essential services, and thank goodness for them. So they've had to, you know, they're maybe not in the home. There are a lot of working moms. I know my daughter up in Phoenix my 11-year-old grandson and my 7-year-old grandson are home. And she's like, it was great for about 3 days. And now it's not so great. I love them. And I don't have a teaching degree. So that is, it is a challenge, and it kind of goes to meeting etiquette, which we're going to talk about a little bit in a minute. So what I think what I would say is find people that you trust, and talk about those challenges, and talk about what's working too. Reach out to customers and clients and ask those questions of them. What's working? How are you, how's your business changed? I think when people hear that we're there to help, or at least just listen, like Valerie is talking about, I think that lends itself so much to creating those relationships that will continue to last. And that's really, I think, what's most important. I definitely say relationships are currency. And they have become even more important now because of where we're at. I also think that I've heard a lot of members say, oh, it's great because now I can attend this and I can attend this, and this is virtual and I can attend this. And I think what I would say too is it's important to connect with people. And sometimes we tend to over network, especially in Tucson. So what I would say is get specific on some places where you feel like your time can be used, in a valuable way, and focus on those. As the chamber is great about sending out updates, and I know that we're going to have more of these virtual, not only just knowledge at noons, but I'm sure there'll be upcoming things that are virtual. Plug into those, because being with other business professionals again, and being able to communicate with them and find out what's working and maybe what's not, they may have some ideas about how your business, can be helped, and vice versa. So again, make sure that you're not over networking and don't over isolate either, because I think either can be detrimental. All right. So this is a terrible time to have allergies, I will tell you. You'll see me wiping my nose. It's not a great time. I was at the store the other day and sneezed, and I'd never had that reaction before, sneezing. So it's an interesting time. All right, so we're gonna move on a little bit and talk about ways to stay connected. So I Googled over the course of the last couple of weeks all of the different things, and this is only just a few of ways. I know that I've connected with BNI people over Facebook, that Messenger and WhatsApp. That's been helpful. Zoom, of course, is right now our platform of choice. And I will say that the security challenges, I think we have to make sure that we are aware that companies that have so much going on right now, in my opinion, they're going to have things that happen. And I know I had some members freak out and say, oh, Zoom has these security challenges. And I said, listen, we have a dedicated support team for BNI. We've got 280,000 people on this platform, and we're safe. I do think there are some ways, obviously, that you can keep yourself safe, but I spoke to a computer guy yesterday, and he said, I can almost guarantee you that I could open up their computer remotely and probably tag 5 or 6 different ways that they're actually more susceptible to being hacked than a Zoom platform or a GoToMeeting platform. So, there different ways to make sure that, you know, you're protected. We've really shied away from putting our meeting IDs online. I know the Metro Chamber did a great job. You know, you only got the link after you registered. They didn't send it out way far ahead of time. We can also do password protection things. So there's a lot of different ways where we can make sure we're safe and secure. I would say one of the important things though too is to make sure that your network and your computer is safe and secure. You know, most of the time we're at the office, we know what that network looks like, everything is safe, and you move to your house and sometimes that computer is not. So just, I would say, you know, if you don't have a computer guy, make sure that you, you know, just communicate with somebody, because at least for the foreseeable future, at least for, you know, the next couple of weeks anyway, maybe even a month or so, most everything is going to be online. So there's a lot of different ways to communicate, to stay connected for sure. Are there others here that some of you have worked with that you found to be successful as well? And again, I haven't worked with all of these, but these were the top ones that came up. Is there anybody that's worked with something different? Or that maybe your company is saying, yes, this is the one we want you to work with?
Chrissy, tell me a little bit about WhatsApp. I know I use that when I travel. How is that being used today for meetings and networking? Or
yeah, so it's this, typically they're being used for those one-to-one meetings because you can see that person. I think that's where WhatsApp is coming into. I know you're right. A lot of the European countries use WhatsApp, and the Asian countries as well. And that's how they communicate, not just phone or text, but also so that you can see each other. And I know that's one of the ways that we've done in BNI. We call them one-to-one meetings, where we get together and we talk, and it's easier to do it face-to-face rather than just on the phone, and WhatsApp allows you to do it face-to-face. Any other platforms that you all are using? Sumaya? Okay, WebEx, and that seems to be working. Just trying. Okay. Yeah, I get it. I think one of the things that we have to realize too is it's the first time that, you know, we live in an online society. I mean, we, you know, websites and blogs and Facebook and LinkedIn, all of those things are online. We really are in an unprecedented time where so many businesses have literally just moved to online. I mean, they you know, everybody is online in their business now, even connecting or creating meetings. And so I think you have to find what works best for you. And it may be different depending on who your clientele is. It may be different where your clientele is too. I know for BNI, we have members all over the world, and some of those people are my friends. So, you know, Zoom works really well, but some of them, you know, Carrie, to go to that point, they trust WhatsApp, and that's what they want to use. And so that's what we have to use. So as you hear about things, again, I think it's important to share those and figure out what's going to work best for you. I'm not going to do a Zoom commercial. All I can say is, for us, it works really, really well. And it's been great because Zoom actually has a feature where you can rate attentiveness. So it actually will rate if someone is actually paying attention and you know, participating and is engaged. So it's an interesting feature. Chuck says he just went to a huge conference that moved from Baltimore to online, and it was great. could make notes right in the PowerPoint of each presenter. Yeah, so the creativity that's coming out of this is pretty exciting. And again, I always look for the opportunity, the lemonade from the so-called lemons. And I think the opportunity is that we're going to come out of this smarter about how not only to reach out and create the connections, but also even how we can connect across the world in ways that we hadn't really thought about it before. So.
Well, and I also think too, had this happened years ago, a lot of these platforms, I mean, companies, businesses weren't online with a lot of this stuff. They weren't even available. And to think these are what's available today, but after this, think of the platforms that are going to be created for the future as well. I think the whole landscape is going to change incredibly. But had this happened 10, 15 years ago, there wouldn't have been this communication. It was only email. It was, wasn't this type of virtual stuff at all. So, if it was going to happen, it's a good time, I think, right now. But moving forward, I think there'll be many, many more options that are going to be available that will be created. So it could be an exciting time for those creating these type of programs as well.
I agree. The IT people, I can't imagine the creations that are happening right now. Yeah. And Jeff says, the internet probably couldn't have even handled it 10 years ago. We joke, I mean, my 19-year-old daughter has never lived in a world where we didn't have internet. I remember dial-up, this would never have worked for dial-up for sure. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead. So one of the things that Adam brought up was that reputation management. And although I don't like to, put things up and read, I am going to read this if that's okay, because I found this and I thought it was really important. It said all of us are in this online world, individuals, businesses, public organizations, and we've got two identities. The one that exists in real life and the one that lives online. Marketing professionals, CEOs realize this to a great degree. And we all know that the internet really can be fickle. And bad news travels fast. So, think about that, that customer can strike that submit button on that review site. And boy, it's quick. It's so fast now, faster than ever. More than ever, people are searching online to find information, formulate opinions on people and businesses. And only 5% of people look past the first page of Google. So those first impressions are even more important now. And, it says, miss your chance to make a positive impact off the bat, and you might not get another one. And it's frightening and yet so true. So true. So we go back to the Facebook and LinkedIn or any of the social platforms, Twitter, and there's, I'm sure, a lot out there that I don't even know of. And what we're putting out there right now, I believe, is even more important. I know just from a Facebook standpoint, I have deleted people more within the last couple of weeks just for the negativity, the doom and gloom, not about what's happening so much as, someone posted, well, there's a lot of people, they're home now. What's going to happen to the divorce rate? And I thought, gosh, we can't think about it differently. Adam, you and Rena do not get to spend that much time together. And so why can't we think about it differently? Like, think about, I love the fact that I get to see Bill now more than ever. My daughter's cooking dinner. She said, we've had dinner 3 weeks every single night. She's like, that didn't happen before this. So I think remembering, people are looking for positive things out there. And I'm not saying fluff, realism is good and great, but be mindful of what you're posting. Your clients see it, your customers see it. It's not just about friends and family. And I think that now more than ever, our online reputation is even more important than it ever has been, because it's going to be a while, I think. Adam.
Hey, Chrissy, I was just going to say, even take that one step further. I mean, employers these days are even looking at your social media. And so, it's been an interesting change for me. I come from the beer industry. So a lot of my posts previously were of me in bars and restaurants, or me, enjoying a beer here or there, or whatever. And that's frowned upon these days. And so, part of the whole reason why I asked you to talk about this is because people don't realize, well, maybe now more than ever, as you said, people are realizing just how impactful social media can be as a way to disseminate information, but also to disseminate misinformation. And so that's why, from my own personal thoughts, I try to stay positive. I love that mute button. I don't unfriend or delete anybody. I just put them on mute for 30 days.
Right.
But it's important now more than ever that we're all doing what we can to support each other and to support the businesses and be positive. And a lot of that reputation that you're able to build now by taking the positive spin might be a catalyst for yourself, your personal development, or your professional development moving forward. And so that's why, I think reputation management and how we are interacting with others socially, especially digitally, is super important moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. I think sometimes it's hard to think when this is over. What happens when this is over? And I think online, your presence, how you're reacting, to this, so that when people see that, I think we have to be mindful that people are going to make those judgments, and they're going to hold on to them even when it's over. It's not going to just go away where people are just going to forget. And, again, now more than ever, employers are looking. They've got the time. They're putting the people in, and they're saying, hey, go in and look. And, reputation, things that are being posted are important. So be mindful of that, I would say, for sure. So we're going to move into, from reputation management, since, we're talking about these online meetings, some meeting etiquette. Some of my favorites, and I'll definitely tell you a couple stories. Leaving the keyboard alone. It's funny. I think, when we were in meetings before in person, we were much less apt to multitask. I know we definitely make sure that our members, when we're in BNI meetings, put the phone away, be engaged, stay present at the meeting. And with these virtual meetings, it's almost harder now to do that, because we think, oh, I can send an email, or, oh, I can check my phone. So realizing that this is almost more stressful, these online meetings. I was telling Carol, I got up, I got ready, and I went to a meeting. I didn't have to look at myself. I didn't have to pay attention to the chat bar. I didn't have to, make sure that my husband didn't come in and just ask me a question like he just did. I didn't have to worry about, my granddaughter running around in back of me with no shirt on. I mean, all of these things you didn't have to worry about. And now you have to worry about it. I had to walk outside. We share property. We live on the same property as my parents. My dad loves to knock on the door. He's retired. Like, Dad, don't knock on the door until after 1:15. You don't have to say that in a business meeting, dressing appropriately. I mean, of course, the joke is, professional on the top, and then, what do you have on the bottom? Funny story, our first BNI meeting 3 weeks ago, gentleman, even though we'd sent out the email reminders, got on the meeting. I happened to be on. We had a visitor. He didn't have a shirt on. No shirt. very obvious that he had just rolled out of bed. I'm like, great, perfect. He was also on his phone, which is something to be mindful of, you know, sitting and staying present in a meeting. I know sometimes we're on our phone. Be mindful that when you're moving around, like Diana, I know she did that. She's only taking her picture on and off because she's got the baby and she's outside. That's a meeting etiquette that she knows and she does a great job of. Not everybody does. So he's walking around his house with his phone. So we're seeing everything. By the end of the meeting, we had watched him put a shirt on. He was sitting in his bedroom with his underwear hanging behind him off of the door. And he had one of those black workout things, and he was working out on the meeting. I'm like, and the visitor applied for membership. So go figure. Probably the members were like, she just wanted to see what she was going to get next week. So again, you know, dressing appropriately, being aware of your surroundings, you know, making sure that you're telling people, hey, I'm in a meeting. I think these virtual backgrounds, like the one that I have, are great because it keeps you safe. People can walk behind you and they don't get into your picture. So something to think about. You can get really creative. I've worked mine through Zoom. So, you know, that's one of the perks of working with Zoom. I'm sure there's a lot of other, I'm sure you can do virtual backgrounds with anything, but that's another thing. Speaking up, again, we think it feels like we're talking really loud because we're sitting in a room by ourselves, but remember to, you know, speak up. And I talked about it, seated and present. It is funny how many meetings I've been on where we don't have food at BNI meetings, and people are eating, and I had a lady eating a popsicle the other day, and I'm like, okay. So just being, again, mindful of that, you know, especially when you're with your customers and your clients. I think we need to actually be more professional right now because we are at home, and sometimes we're sliding back a little bit. So that's what I would say. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. So ideas about marketing. Diana, did you have something to say?
I was going to actually say, and I wanted to actually apologize because I know most of you all personally, and today I straight forgot what day it was. I saw the alert pop up and I was really looking forward to this, and I am all with you. Like, try to be on top of it, and I think this has been my hardest struggle because, you know me, I don't like to not be on top of things, but I am trying to give myself that little bit of grace. And so if you see me running in a Zoom with the baby, I apologize, and I hope you can give me a little bit.
Yeah, and I was saying you do a great job. Like, you're mindful of that, and that's completely okay. I think that's the great thing. I was really more talking about the gentleman from my chapter that was not mindful and didn't understand all of the things that we were seeing. So no apologies needed. No apologies. This is the first time I've actually done my hair, put makeup on in quite a few days. So no judgment, no judgment. All right. So talking about marketing and your business. So we talked, you know, how are you pivoting? You know, you've got to get creative right now around pivoting your business and, you know, creating a different marketing strategy, even, you know, connecting with maybe some different people. And I think that I'm not going to stay here long just because I know that I've got 9 minutes. But I would say now more than ever, you know, connect with someone. So we have a great resource in the chamber. You know, Valerie and Adam and Carrie and Carol and Jason are all here. You know, they are people that you can reach out to and, you know, pick their brain about some things. You might not know me. I am willing and able to meet you virtually if I can help in any way. And it has nothing to do with you coming to a BNI meeting. It just, how can we help one another? So make sure that you're reaching out. We like to say network up. You know, who are you networking with that is is pivoting, is doing some different things? Are you having conversations with them? Because that's what's going to be important. You know, our peers are great and they help us a lot. Make sure you're looking for the people that are elevated, that are really doing some of the things that you're like, gosh, I'm not sure how to do that, or I don't know what that would look like. Those are the people that you want to reach out to and connect to. And I feel more than ever, we are in this thing together and we are here to help each other. I'm a native Tucsonan, and Tucson is important to me. And we are a strong community. We are the biggest small town ever. And so there are a lot of people that are here to help. Make sure that you're not isolating yourself. Make sure that you are talking to people, and make sure that you're getting creative and figuring out different ways to market your business, different platforms, blogs. I know a home inspector yesterday that I met with said, you know, I've always talked about writing a book, and I'm going to do that now. And it's going to be a gift to my real estate clients. So again, this is a time to take a little bit of time, get creative, and make sure you're connecting with people that can help. All right. Let's see. So we've talked about a lot of different things today. Hopefully it was helpful. I think, again, just to talk about the connections. Right now is a time when we need to figure out who we need to talk to. And some of us that are solopreneurs, sometimes that's hard. You know, this is a time when we don't really get to be in our rut anymore. We really have to get creative. So communicating and connecting with the right people, taking advantage of things like this, these knowledge at noons, or maybe you have a professional organization that you haven't been able to attend a class in a while because of time, because of driving. You know, go get educated. Take those. There's a lot of education out there right now. So take advantage of those types of things, and figure out who you need to be connected to. Again, I know there are a lot of resources on the Metro site, and I, for one, I have on my list, you know, make sure my profile is updated, make sure that, you know, I've got my connections in order. I haven't looked at the membership in a while, you know, so taking the time to figure out, all right, who can I help? Who can I connect with? Who can I pick their brain? I think is fantastic, fantastic. Let's see. And so I see L Cobb. Can you tell me your name so I don't call you L Cobb?
It's Let Colwell. I'm not sure if my audio is working or not.
Yep, you're on. I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So I'll start my video. There you go. So
Thank you. Well, so you typed something in. I'd love for you to take about 20 or 30 seconds and just share.
Look, I'm willing to look. We know everyone's struggling. You know, not the best of times for us either.
Right.
But I've been in marketing for about 25 years. I was here in Tucson for about 10 years, left for 7, and then got an opportunity to come back. And if you just need some help or something, that's my office number there. I'm not going to pitch you a schedule, anything like that. If you just want some help, some marketing ideas to kick around, I'm happy to do it. You can take them or leave them, whatever. So, but I'm happy to talk to you if you're struggling with some ideas right now, as we all try to navigate the challenges. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate that. I feel like we are living in that age where I'm not trying to pitch you. I just want to help. So thank you for sharing, and right there with you for sure. I am going to put my information here again, just in case you'd like to contact me. If there's anything that I can do, if I can connect you with anyone, feel free to reach out. You can call me, you can email me. This is a textable line as well. And I don't know how, Carol, you all are working this, but I'm assuming you all have the emails for everybody. So feel free, email Shirley or Carol. And if you don't have this information that's in the chat bar, you can't see it for whatever reason, feel free to email them. And I'm giving permission to send that out if you'd like to connect with me, because I'd love to meet with you and see how I can help as well. So on a last note, just because I am a positive and try to be very supportive, I loved this quote that networking is not collecting contacts. Networking is about planting relationships. And I think, again, now more than ever, we are living in a world where it's going to be really important. It's not just important for now. It's important for when we do come out and out of this. And, you know, what is that going to look like? It's going to be even more important, I think, to create those relationships and have those people that we trust. And so I am here to help in any way. And again, I appreciate the Metro Chamber having me today. I hope that you took at least one helpful piece or nugget away. And, you know, again, contact me if there's anything that I can do to help.
Thank you so much, Chrissy. Great presentation.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Chrissy.
this was great.
All right. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
You guys have a great